Hi, guys. Welcome back. It's Beth here with Aging Care Solutions, offering both experienced personal and professional guidance and experience for caregivers, seniors, family members that are helping their family members or friends or relatives or spouses um, as we all navigate this care journey. So, welcome back. Thank you for subscribing, for coming back, for coming back and seeing what is she talking about now? Because the older you get, the more stuff you've gone through, and the more stories that you have, and the more experience that you have, the more wisdom that you have. And I kind of feel like I have a lot to share. And because I want to help people, and that's kind of who I've always been since I was very young. I started babysitting at the age of 9. And I've been a caregiver my whole entire life. I'm still a caregiver. I'm raising kids. I had children late, so I am still cooking, cleaning, driving, woo, woo, doing all this for everybody. But I'm also approaching retirement. So, and I also cared for family members. I cared for my mother for like 12 years, more than that when I think about all the times I had to, check on her and go visit and over the years. But moving her when she was diagnosed with dementia, what made me a true hands-on caregiver at that point. And I was managing her and my grandmother remotely for a little bit, probably my grandmother for about 3 years. My grandmother did so well until she was 97. 97. She was, first of all, I was her favorite. She always told me that, or at least I always told her that I was. But she was funny and she was wonderful. And I just have such great memories of her. And so was my mom. My mom was like a real spunky and funny, and she loved working. And when my dad died at 55, I think she worked 3 or 4 more years, and she was like, "Yeah, no, I'm done." She wanted to travel. She had enough money. She just was set up. She was so bright. She took financial planning courses and worked with a good financial strategist. So she was really on top of it, and that's really where we all need to be too, especially if there's properties in a family. I mean, her greatest asset was her home, and that was in upstate New York, so it wasn't worth a lot. But I think we sold it for like 125,000. But anyhow, today's topic. I don't even know how I just started rambling. Today's topic is about really staying home until the very end. And is it possible? Yes, it is possible. But that would come with certain modifications and also sort of building a team if you don't have a family team that's going to be coming in regularly to oversee you and make sure that you're safe, make sure that you're getting what you need. So, but modifying the home is certainly a way. And a lot of people, I did a video just last week about fall prevention, and it really lends to exactly what I'm going to talk about today, which is modifying the home for safety. And it can start, well, it starts in all areas, depending on, if you're still driving, you want to make sure that your garage is easy to get in and out of. And if you've got a lot of stuff in there, call the donation people. I used to deal with all kinds of different vendors because I would say, I got a guy. Oh, you need that done? I got a guy. Because I always did have a guy. I would call these two guys from the University of Maryland that started a company called 123 Junk, and they would come and they would repurpose stuff that could be repurposed. They would donate what could be donated, and then if anything else was real trash, they would dispose of it. But they would help families get their garage, their basements, get it all cleaned out. Get it cleaned out. I mean, it's amazing. No wonder people don't want to move, because when you start looking at all the stuff that you've accumulated over the course of 10 years, 20 years, imagine being in your house for 70 years or 60 years. No wonder. And it's so much easier when there's less clutter, because I used to be able to tell how somebody was feeling by walking in their house. If their house was kind of like easy to navigate, it looked like it was, sort of organized, it was tidy. But if you walked in there and it was, like a hoarding situation, you could just tell that that person was overwhelmed. They were unable to really manage the day to day with certain things because they couldn't let stuff go. They were unable to. And I had a client who lived in this beautiful, huge, historic Victorian home down in Rockville, Maryland. And he had a terrible fall and broke his back. And there was so much stuff in that house. OMG. I don't know how. I guess he liked to buy stuff and collect stuff. A lot of the stuff was like antique stuff, or it was like he had an affinity for lamps. And, I just started looking around. I was like, what? Statues in the house. Like, I was like, okay. But he couldn't stay there, could not stay there safely. I mean, anyway, moving on. As far as like modifying your home, some of this stuff is really, when you think about it, is common sense, but it's not always for a lot of people. But starting with just the basics of getting in and out of your home. So starting with the garage. I don't know if you have to pay kids in the neighborhood to come and do it, or have your adult children, grandchildren come and get everything so that you can get safely in and out. That's a great start. And then as far as modifying getting into the home, I'm hoping that you don't have too many steps from your garage to get into the main part of your home. But if you do, if there's a few steps there and it starts to become more challenging, of course, I'm going to recommend that you have somebody, if it's not already there, safety rails, and have them put on both sides, because people will use anything. They'll set something next to it so that they can use it. So it could be a broom handle that they're using to get into the house. That is the thing that they grab onto. No, we're not going to allow you to do that anymore. So you're going to have somebody come and install, and there's different ones. There's plastic ones, there's metal ones. Somebody could, build a railing that nails into the side of the house and comes down, and then they have a brace, and there's different ways to do it. There's kits that you can buy. Somebody can put in 2 safety rails for you, and also for your front entrance. If you've had to go up and down, sorry about that. If you've had to go up and down the front steps, like cement steps, it's tricky. It can be really tricky, especially with bad weather conditions. Going in and out your front door is not usually advisable unless that's your main entrance. I'm hoping that it's only a few steps. But if you do not have safety rails, please consider putting them in the front of the house as well. And then you're just going to go room by room to kind of see. Of course, the bathroom is always one place. When you mix weak legs or imbalance with soap and water, it's not a good recipe. It's a recipe for disaster. So we're going to advise that you would get a seated shower seat. They're sold on Amazon. They are sold at all DME or durable medical equipment companies. Amazon has a huge healthcare line, so you could easily get a shower chair. I think it's $15, $20, something like that. And they're adjustable. So, you can have part of it on the outside, part of it on the inside, so you can get in and swing your legs around. Also, a raised toilet seat is another one that helps. It's very hard for people that are unable to maintain their muscle mass and their strength to be unable to get off the toilet unless there is safety bars or a raised toilet seat. Sometimes they're raised as much as several inches, which it really does help when you're getting on and off. Of course, I'm going to recommend that you do your very best to do daily exercise and I'm doing another video about that later on, but it's about the number of people that I see at the gym who are in their 80s and 90s that are still working out. And I've got a lot to say about that. The other thing is railings. Now, a lot of people try to create and have their main bedroom on the first floor, which is a great idea, especially if you've got a full shower bathroom on that first floor, because that becomes your little safety area. The kitchen's there, your bathroom, your bedroom, and your living area where the TV is, right? So ideally, if that's how your home is set up, it's going to work out much, much better than having to do stairs. But if you have to, I've got some suggestions for that as well. So putting railings in along the sides of each hallway can be very helpful so that you don't have to always be using a walker or an assisted device like a cane. But if you have to, then you have to, right? You can use your walker if you feel unsteady, because using a railing only gives you security on one side of your body. And most people, especially as we age, we get smaller and smaller, can't necessarily safely reach across the hallway to grab that other railing as they're moving. I recently talked to a friend of mine, and this is what they did when they modified her parents' homes. And the other thing they did is they put a camera in the main living area so that they would know when she was getting ready to go to bed, and mom would sign off by saluting them. I mean, I think that's so cute. Every night. So my friend was there almost every day from 3 to 9, and But after she left, she would know that her mom was going to bed after that, and it was just so cute that they could everyone lived all over the country, right? So they wanted to make sure mom was doing okay. The other thing is, which I've mentioned before, is lockbox on the outside of the home. Many times this is great for EMS or a neighbor, someone that's making a delivery, like a friend bringing by groceries or doing whatever. They have easy access. All they got to do is open the little lockbox because you've given them the code, and there's a key. They can open it, put it back, and lock the lockbox. Some people even go and put in a keyless entry on the home so that it's so much easier that way. I mean, it's just easier to have so that there is no key, just because keys get lost. People borrow it. Oh, I forgot. I put it in my pocket. The other thing is, if your parent is using a walker or a wheelchair, doing a ramp, like a portable ramp that that they can come out and do a fitting for it. Sometimes they come straight out. Other times there's not enough footprint for them to do that. But those ramps, and I worked with a number of people. I got a guy. He did ramps. Was able to come out and do an assessment of the property. There's certain questions that they have to ask. They have to make sure there's not an HOA that would say that it's being violated, and there's HOAs do have to make accommodations for people who are handicapped. In my neighborhood alone, and we are in an HOA. Excuse me. There's a number of families that have children that have disabilities that are in wheelchairs, and they have made modifications. There's a lift at one home, and I've noticed a couple ramps just going through different neighborhoods when I'm walking. The other thing is a chairlift. So I'm familiar with these because I would go into people's homes and they would say, that's how I get upstairs. And brand new chairlifts are expensive, but there is an aftermarket because once people move out of that home after they pass, that chairlift, maybe the family that's buying that home doesn't need it, doesn't want it in there. So there is a market for this. The company that's put that in there will buy it back from the family. So it's worth looking into if it's not like needed to be specialized, having to go, I don't know, you'd have to look into it. But a friend of mine who ran her own assisted living, one of the homes, which was a 10-bed, she put in an elevator, and it made things a lot easier. It went from the basement of the home, which there was fitness, there was bedrooms down there for caregivers that were always there, a gym and a coffee area that went out to, it was absolutely beautiful assisted living. And anyway, it helped people get up and down, even if they were using their assisted device or a wheelchair. The other thing, modifying your home, or not even so much, excuse me, modifying it, but having types of services that can come in. I mean, certainly weekly deliveries, if it's difficult for you if that person isn't driving anymore, or if they're finding it very difficult to be driving, there's all kinds of services that can bring everything right to the house. I mean, you can even get your medication delivered, your meals, and if you're home and you're technologically savvy, and you can use your tablet or your laptop, you can even do your doctor's visits many times, with your doctor right at home. So, these are just a few of the helpful hints for, and if you can think of any that I missed, I may have. No, I pretty much covered everything that I have thought of that I thought would be very helpful, that I've used personally, or families that I've worked with over the years, as they modified their home safely. But again, I want to say thank you to all of you for coming back, helping me grow my channel, so that we can help more people. And that's the reason that I'm here. I felt called to do this channel. I've been in this industry for more than 20 years, and I thought, how can I reach more people? Since I'm not going out to hospitals and rehab facilities anymore, this is what I was told to do, so I'm doing it. And I'm going to make the best of this that I can. I said to myself, I'm aging, I'm getting closer to retirement, and I'm going to make the rest of my life the best of my life. And part of that is sharing the knowledge that I have, and also just helping you make good decisions. And if you are a caregiver, I'm sending you a hug and a lot of love, because I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like, and I know how there's ups and downs with that. Sometimes you feel like you're on top of the world and you got it, I got it, and then all of a sudden you hit a wall and you're tired, or you got sick, and you just feel like, it's never ending. But I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of you all the work that you're doing. If you're still raising kids like I am, and you went through, I was in the sandwich generation, and I'm going to do a video about that because it really is. That's a tricky time of life when you're managing your kids because you think to yourself, wait, who's my priority? My parent going to visit them and seeing them and caring for them, or feeding my kids? So I get it. It can be super challenging. But again, sending you lots of love, and I look forward to seeing you. If you have any comments, any suggestions, I want to hear from you guys. I want to really make this good for both of us. So feel free to leave a comment and your like, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care.